confession, though. The details will have to come from Austin himself.
Can we start with...
I see you brought guests.
Jessica Ridgway, that I was responsible for her abduction and her death.
Can you talk to me now a little bit about what happened in this whole situation?
Yeah!
I just remember finding a place over in her neighborhood where her car really wouldn't be noticed.
Drown in your sorrows!
I was just kind of looking, and I saw her, and I found the place to park, and I parked and I waited.
The time has come to dethrone our former master.
My car in the backseat. I parked.
Do you remember where that was at?
Not exactly. It was.
Early in the morning, when you drove over to Jessica's neighborhood, what were you planning on doing that day?
I had to kind of picking up some any female that came across.
My dreadful prey blood!
So you were out...
Our gift of the arcane enlightens us.
So initially, in the backseat of your car,
Yes, and
did she come close enough to the car that you did?
basically, I mean, I did one step, and that was it.
What was she doing when you did that?
She was messing with a snowball in her hands, and she actually still had the snowball in her hands when I was driving.
What was she saying?
She was scared. She wanted to know if she was going to see her mom again, and she wanted to know. Wanted to know where we were going. And I mean, lied to her and told her that she would. And I would tell her that she'd be okay, and one of her concerns was,
The time has come to dethrone
Austin is describing an abduction that has been front page news in Colorado for the better part of a month. Detectives said to see if the subject ever came up between them.
Jessica, tell me what you saw on the news about Jessica.
I just saw that she about her
I also
last week.
And have you and Austin talked about Jessica at all?
Not really.
What have you mentioned?
Relaxation for all, and all thanks to me.
About how we can do about
His reign ends now.
My friend has admitted to his involvement in this horrific crime, and she certainly doesn't know the chilling story he's sharing with the detectives.
So after so long of driving around, I found
Shank's only good for smashing!
from the car and I drove back to my house. And I hopped out of the car and I opened the garage door and I drove in and I shut the garage door behind me. Let her out of the back of my car. And I took her up to my room. And I sat her in my room and I played Netflix on the TV for her. Super like Family Guy or something. I've seen cartoon. I just kind of sat there.
Austin tells the police that he left the room at this point to get Jessica a Coke and a microwave.
Probably,
It was on the second floor, right?
yeah. She didn't
Austin's grim confession takes place against the backdrop of the conflicting DNA evidence, and his grandmother appears to think something else may be going on here.
Do you know why you're here?
Because there has my grandson seems to believe that he can.
And your grand.
That's what I understand. This is horrible. This is the most horrible thing.
Free of that blasted tyrant! Hoist the colors! Yeah! Yeah! Behold!
For sure.
Like it. I don't know. I don't know.
But despite the DNA, Austin paints a vivid picture of Jessica's early moments.
Probably an hour, maybe. I don't exactly remember time.
It's perfectly harmless to me.
I asked her to change into a pair of a shirt and shorts that I had, and I let her go into the bathroom to do that, and she came back, told her job, put all her clothes in her bag.
I bring life. Fantastic destruction! Fantastic destruction!
And then after she was done with that, I walked up behind her. It was cut into my skin, and it didn't really work, and we weren't doing a job.
Oh, have you filled out the paperwork?
So immediately, just without even removing the zip ties or anything, I immediately switched over to just strangling her with my hands.
How did you use the zip ties?
They weren't quite long enough, so I was together and I it inevitably tore through my hand and wound up breaking.
You actually have a mark on one of your fingers. Is that from the zip tie?
Both. It's on both ends. That's all.
On both of the index fingers right here, you have a little mark where those were from pulling on the zip ties.
Yes. When I chose
My rule is eternal.
I'm sorry. I'm so
We've got a high turnover rate.
After she was, I hope was done, I put her into my bathtub, face down, and I made sure to fill up with water to make sure that she and then I cut off the clothes and threw them in the trash.
Happy that the pit is turning.
I sat and I cried.
According to Austin, that was only the beginning of an unspeakably dark morning.
Why did you take your arms and legs and her head off?
Because I felt like it was the only way that I could conceivably hide the body, as if it was in more manageable pieces.
This is a question, but why are you trying to hide the body?
I realized it's either
My hand is full.
jail forever, possibly be executed, possibly anything. I didn't know. I don't know creature's gonna be.
So you're fully understanding the consequences of what you've done, and that's why you're...
A toast to all sorts of giving.
Because I understand the consequences of what I do.
We're going on a dangerous voyage.
Stuff like that, and the successful ones always seem to be the ones who were able to make the body disappear completely. My main goal initially was to make it so that there was no trace.
I'm the Brood Mother. Don't you ever forget.
Just the utility. The human skeleton fits together kind of like a jigsaw puzzle. You get the right spot, they come apart.
Because they discovered Jessica's body. A couple of days later, search for Jessica to a different area. He left her backpack in a distant neighborhood.
They felt like
Our gift of fire empowers us.
that specifically out of the pool house, and I brought it back up and I re-cleaned it. And
The runes inside your
and I froze until I
remnants of life.
a minute or two, hop out, pull, just dump it off the side of the road and keep going. Because I felt like that was the biggest piece that I had to get rid of.
Bag, an item Austin says he included as part of his devious ploy.
Don't have rings. Use some sludge.
So I cut it off and shrubs, and I made some random engravings on it with the blade, just you know, in case.
What markings did you make on it?
Well, initially I was gonna go for something cryptic like 666 or something that would be very clear that it was religious. Used my something to get them on that.
Did you think that was that thought that would distract?
Who knows what secrets will uncover?
On the front, and then on the back, I think I scribbled a Z or an S. I think it was like an S, so I just kind of back and forth.
And what did you use to carve it with?
The same utility blade.
That you'd use to, when you moved the body?
Yeah.
Okay.
Austin says that he spent the week since the murder racked with anxiety, though it appears that his girlfriend didn't notice.
What about his attitude? How has he been in the last month? Is there anything different about him?
Not at all.
Okay. Does he have any injuries on him?
Mm-mm.
You haven't seen any injuries? What about, has he seemed happier than usual or sadder than usual or anything like that? You noticed anything different about him?
Mm-mm.
It seems that even those closest to Austin noticed nothing out of the ordinary, but then again, perhaps the young suspect was practiced in maintaining an innocent facade.
Does anything else happen before
I see you've brought guests.
The media had brought it back up as the incident at Catner Lake, where the young lady died.
When you talk about the Kettner Lake incident,
That is time for treasure transport.
I remember
Fly, buddy.
around I waited for whatever.
Eyes on the horizon!
Walked past the lady who
We're gonna need more gunpowder.
and then I tried and she knocked me to the ground. And I don't remember. Again.
Despite his overboard soldiers, the woman was able to fight him off, but his involvement in this earlier incident was heartbreaking by the fact that Jessica's mom mentioned it in her first sit-down.
In a box? Pirate stuff.
My intents were probably to do something to Jessica.
Jessica's they have linked it to the Ketgo's attack. Despite the lab results, it looks increasingly likely that the young man before them is responsible for both. And if this violence seems to have come from nowhere, it means that there were signs along the way.
By the power of Ragnarok, I have the power!
His mother found out that he was 13, 14. They call it addicted to pornography.
Oh,
And
at age
I'm going,
13 or 14, you said?
yeah,
Okay.
I'm going, isn't this kind of normal for guys?
But investigators will quickly learn that there was nothing normal about the content Austin was